scene here will pop up, and you can see people that have dialed in to the call and a little bit more information. You can also record through audio through Uber conference.
Hey, Michael.
Hello.
Evening, everyone.
Evening. I'm just going to mute for a couple seconds so you guys don't hear my chewing.
Sounds great. We'll let whoever else wants to join, and it's 6:02. Shall we get started? It is Thursday, April 13th, 2017. This is William Newing, product owner of Linwood, Washington shop, and we will get this stand-up started. Last week, we had a good trend, a good amount of points completed. It looks like last week we had 197. 2 weeks ago, about 54 points. I think that was during the spring break and my travels. We were able to finally ship out Chris Wallace's Wheels and Tires. That was a little bit interesting to figure out how we're going to ship that, but you know, like they say, just one bite at a time. And I emailed Chris Wallace the receipt, and I was just shocked. I'm like, we're going to ship Amtrak from now on. This is so cheap. It was just, wow, for that suspension component. I think last year when we shipped a set to you, Chris Wallace, and also to Hubert Smith, we could have saved a lot more, but that's okay. We're learning from here. Moving forward, what else? We also were able to import 4 major epics that our chief investor, Joe Justice, our founder, has his visions for. We're still in the holding pattern for the Red NSX, and also a response back from, I believe, Tim Meyer about his car. The 4 epics are the suspension epic, the airbag epic, the motor epic, and the carbon fiber epic. We just ported over into Trello what we have currently so far, and we can divulge more into that later on. Currently, right now, I am working on piecing out the suspension epic. I think we can probably tackle this. I think there's going to be some components where I'll reach out to the team and possibly also Hubert, anyone else who has the Fusion 360 not interface, but the files that Fusion 360 is usable for the GeoMagick and a lot of the CAD. Current blocks, not too many. I'm hoping the shop doesn't have too much of a weather and bird constraint right now. I put another rock in a hole that a bird has drilled out, and then we've had just some of that winter flooding and also trees growing into the just not too major stuff, but I think eventually it will become larger of an issue if it does come to that. So I hope that we'll have some plan or some type of Scrum Master be able to remove some of those impediments. And like I said again, for this week is continuing on that suspension epic. We're also somewhat in bringing in the motor epic, since it's also really big, and we're also transitioning to a Speeduino aspect of it. So Andrew Hall, one of the Bellevue College students, will be joining us later. He may or may not make it to stand-up. He's got some studying to do for the rest of his courses, and that's understandable. So to see that we share that demo of what he made, it was amazing. I would like to see if we can test that out on one of our modules, if not on car number 7. We'll go from there. That is it for me. Who would like to go next?
Ooh, I guess I'll go if no one else wants to jump in. Okay, so I don't remember if you introduced yourself and where you're at, William. Okay, I'm sorry. Must have been, I was typing or zoned out or something. So I'm Chris Wallace. I'm the product owner of the Burleson, Texas, USA Microfactory, and then also currently the product owner of the website improvement project. So let's see, last week, actually what I just wrote down here, I'll probably save this for crosstalk for anyone that's interested. I want to demo this Uber conference that we have set up right now, how it works, and everybody get an idea of what the features are. So let's see. Okay, I added my contact info to the website improvement backlog on the distributed team Trello board, my email address and my phone number, so anybody can email, text, call anytime if they have questions about any of the stuff in that backlog. I briefly discussed over Slack the priorities of the website improvement backlog with Stanley Jovel, I believe is his last name. And he was asking questions if the Google API map opt-in map was more important than website performance, and which is actually an excellent question. I don't think that it is. However, I have a better vision right now of what the opt-in map means, and so I've got some questions that are still outstanding for what we need to do about website performance. I shared the Magic user guide with the team via Google Groups, and then I added a link to that on the distributed team Trello board. It's just a big, regular, what you'd expect user guide document. It's not a tutorial. It's not necessarily fun to read or anything like that, but it does seem to cover at least most of the features that would be important. As per last week's process improvement, I created a one-page flyer with the QR code and a short link, just something real simple. And then I also created a blank page on the website that link goes to. For my birthday, my wife got me, which I received this week, a rolling parts bin shelf from Harbor Freight to improve our fastener sorting for the Burleson, Texas microfactory, because that becomes an issue trying to find where all the bolts and nuts and washers that you need for that particular thing are. It specifically got one on wheels, and it's easy to move around to where the work is actually being done. I secured most of the funds required to catch up on the Burleson microfactory rent. So I'll go ahead and I'll get to that. I'll probably take care of that this week. I was about 3 months behind, so we should be able to go ahead and get that squared away. And then, of course, I verified the closest Amtrak address for shipping the wheels and tires for car number 11 from Linwood Burleson, which then William, as awesome as he is, just brought right to done. For next week, a lot of stuff that was actually on the list from last week will be on next week's. So I should be at the shop to go ahead and catch up on rent. So I'll go ahead and work on that cleanup some. I'll bring the parts bin over there and hopefully get it assembled. Okay, the other stuff that were priorities last week, and they do need to be this week, is I need to edit the new team member email that's sent to the admin. And then I need to automate sending that to the Google group automatically. I had fear I was going to remove the dial-in number from the weekly stand-up, but we'll see during crosstalk what the best plan of action on that is. And then still, because I put it off for 2 weeks, I do, and this probably should have been the top priority, is I need to have a little Q&A session with Bruce, hopefully recorded, on just some questions he has about opening a new microfactory and what to expect, things like that. The only blocks I've had and the reasons that I did not get to most of that this week, and which may actually become an issue this coming week, is this semester's finals are coming up, and I'm a bit of a procrastinator on writing papers, so I need to devote some time to that this week for sure. And then I've also ramped up my job hunt and interview schedule, so that's been taking some extra time. Had a job interview today that I think went well. Yeah, and that pretty much wraps it up for me. Sorry, I was so long-winded there.
Thank you, Chris. No, that was great and perfect, very concise and to the point. And I have a few points that I think I can help during crosstalk. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. So, are we introducing ourselves? Is that the part that I missed? I'm Mary Michael Justice. I am a volunteer from Fort Collins, Colorado, and I often spend time out in the shop in Seattle. So this week, the delivered chairs or the ordered chairs for the finishing part of the kids area, I believe were delivered and hopefully are down there. I'd love to see if they look as good as I think they do. And I have the table solution planned out. What I will be doing is I'll be calling in to make sure that the solution will actually work, and I need to talk to IKEA people in order to do that. So that's the plan. And I'm also cleaning up and packing and getting ready because I'll be leaving in about, I think, a week and a half. Yeah, I think that's about right. So I'll be out there pretty soon. And that's the end.
Any blocks for you, Mary Michael?
Blocks. Let me think. I need a nap. I think that's about it. The only blocking issue I'm kind of running into is I know that Joe has said that William and I spent too much time in the car last time, but some of the things are going to involve some car transportation in order to set up before the training, and so trying to figure out a balance for that. So maybe William has a better idea, and we'll know in crosstalk.
Sounds good. Thank you. And who would like to go next?
This is Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
In Gabriel Island, British Columbia. Past week, I was traveling until Monday and recovering from traveling. But today I looked again, and I did look at work on the charitable status and some of the outstanding things that I'm trying to bring in too, because it's been so long. I did the things at different times, so I looked at an overview today, and I've got my questions that were questions. I'm just going to incorporate them as kind of footnotes. So basically, it's starting to look like it makes sense to me, the whole thing. So in the coming week, I hope to ping Joe with a request to sign, and it's got all kind of the footnotes and everything that he can respond to. Blocks have been the travel. We had a atmospheric river here that overflowed all my gutters for about 10 minutes. So I actually do have some some improvements on the property that is coming up. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Lauren. And who would like to go next?
I guess I'll go next. I didn't know if anybody else needed to go. Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot done this week. I've been busy with work-related stuff and household repairs, so it was a pretty slow week. I did, look at the emails and saw the blurb that was being written, and it's looking pretty good. I think, keeping it concise is a good idea, so that's good. And, I'm just going to wait around and, when people are free to talk about getting a microfactory set up, that's fine with me. There's no hurry on that. So that's okay. Blocks, just life happening. So hopefully it'll let up and things will be good after that. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Bruce. And then please state for where you're from.
Oh, yeah, forgot. Sorry.
Okay.
Bruce Connor, Tewksbury, Massachusetts.
Thank you, Bruce. And Michael Lolchuk?
Yep, I guess that leaves me.
I believe you are.
Michael Wolchuk, Saskatoon, Canada. Not a lot to report for last week, although I have identified 4 scrap vehicles, I guess. They are Polaris Razor electric vehicles. They're not functioning, and they're up for bid. essentially, I think the controllers are hooped and the batteries are hooped. So taking the batteries, or putting in batteries, and putting in an open source controller, and then basically tying that into a motor module should be pretty quick if I don't have anything else to do with it. So I'm contemplating whether to bid on these things. There's 4 of them available. And any opinions would be welcome. They're not very many horsepower. I think they're about 20 horse. Top end is in the 30-mile-an-hour range, but it's an electric motor module. So it sounds like a quick win to me. Anyway, for next week, I will be continuing to try to get the CAD for the electric schematics, which I've been trying to get to for a while, and I have no blocks. That should be about it for me.
Very good. Thank you, Michael. Is there anyone on call? Okay, no one is on call. That wraps up our stand-up. Let's move on to our retrospective. Retrospective is please rate yourself 1 to 10 of how you felt your role as an impact in the team, and also please rate the team 1 to 10 of how you think the team progressed, and then a process improvement if you have one. And I'll just continue on with the iteration then to make it simple. I give myself a 8. Not as good as last week. I could sense a bit of lag, and I've started to notice and understand more of my shortcomings. So I give myself that valuation due to that, and I know where to work on going forward. We did get a lot of it completed. I think there's more room to be efficient, and in exercising different Scrum Master and Product Owner roles would really, really help. Excuse me. And I give the team a 9. We rocked it. Great communication again, consistently. Lots of progress. Lots of data tracking and showing case what we're doing. It's amazing. And also then to think that we're all volunteers. This is great. Well, except me. No, I can't say I am. But yes, we're all volunteers. A process improvement. I do not have one currently. I think I can recycle last week's, but no, I'm going to save that for next time. I think this one-page flyer is really helpful, and I actually really got into it. I wanted to get into it a little bit more, so I'll probably propose something else in crosstalk. So I might even say my process improvement would be to improve our one-pager, and that is it for me. I think, Chris, you're up next.
Certainly. Okay. I'm actually going to go with the 7 for me because this week, for one thing, I got almost nothing done from the actual planned list. I did get basically the stuff I did get done completely came from the interrupt buffer. So I'm going, but I'm going slow, but I'm still going. I'm going to say a 10 for the team. First off, the wheels for car number 11 are on the way, and that's freaking awesome. And also seeing work on the Speeduino, that's really interesting to me, and definitely what everyone else is working on is, like you said, there's so many people that are doing this voluntarily, and every aspect of it is moving forward just because people enjoy contributing. My process improvement is actually similar to yours. The way that I wrote it down is maybe content for the invite flyers related webpage. I'll also say alternate versions of the invite flyer are also very welcome. We can iterate every aspect of that particular overall process. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think, Barry Michael, you're up next.
Okay, there. I'm getting the hang of this mute-unmute thing. Let's see. For myself, I think last time I talked to you guys, I was down to 4 or 5, and one other thing I forgot to mention that I did get done was I ended up looking at the list for the training last time and things that would be important to bring back again. So I actually did pretty well. I'm going to give myself a full-on 7. Rock me. Team, is exceptional. I just love you guys. I think that we continue to move forward in a really positive way, and I'm giving us a 9. Process improvement, can't actually think of one right now.
That's okay. If you have one later, do share. If not, we'll bring forth more. Oh, and we lost you. We miss you, and we'll talk to you soon. See you soon. I think Lauren, you're next.
Okay, this is Lauren. Oh, did you want me to go now, or? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll give myself a 3. Well, and bump it up to a 4 because I got for the first time really when I looked at all the spreadsheets, I put them all up, all 5, 6, plus the PDF and everything. I can see them overview, so I'm giving myself a 4. Team is a 10. I'm going to keep proposing the shop tours. One person every week or two in the crosstalk, give a tour of their workspace. So I'm going to propose that again. Yeah, so that's my process improvement.
All right, thank you, Lauren, and welcome back, Mary Michael. Bruce, I think you're up next.
Yeah, I think that's me. I'm going to give myself about a 2 this week because I didn't really touch too much. I did a little bit on the geomagic stuff. By the way, Chris, thank you for sending the fine manual for that. It was indeed a very soporific document, useful for reference, but not exactly riveting reading. So I'm still looking for stuff like that. And I think for process improvement, well, I don't know, maybe just for myself, that I'd like to document what I find on that stuff so that the next guy who comes along can, maybe pick this stuff up faster. We don't know, what experience levels. We're all volunteers, so people who come in with no experience in CAD, it's a steep learning curve, and I find every bit of help I can get with it is good. So that's it for the team. I would definitely say a 9. I saw a lot of good communications. The blurb looks really good, and so I think we're heading in the right direction there. So, good.
Thank you, Bruce. And Michael Lochek.
Hi.
One and only.
I'm going to give myself a 5. I must comment that only William would go through 100 and some points at the shop and give himself a 7. But whatever. I got very little done that was on my list. I did add a couple of things, so 5 is good enough. And 9.5 for the team because there's always room for improvement. I don't have a process improvement. I think we had 3 last week. We could probably recycle one of them, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. So I guess that's it for me.
Thank you, Michael. So it sounds like the proposed process improvements are taking a nap, virtual tour during crosstalk, and more videos or documentation, which is our demo videos, of either onboarding or geomagic or something, so that it can be short. Some new volunteers could watch and oh yeah, that's something I'm interested in, I can do and participate in that. And then 4, I think, is the continued iteration of the one-pager. Somebody chime in if I'm wrong. Okay, recap. NAP. 2, virtual tour during crosstalk. 3, documentation of the CAD onboarding. And 4 is the continued iteration of the one-pager. Does everyone know what they want to vote for? Does anyone not know? Okay, let's vote in 3, 2, 1.
2.
I can't see myself on the screen, so I'll say 2 as well.
Yeah, you said 2. So I'm seeing 3 2s and 3 4s.
Yep. 4.
No,
Yeah,
we tied.
we tied.
Runoff vote.
Yep. We're gonna have to run off vote, or
What was 2 again?
what was 2?
Mhm.
Good question.
Two is the virtual.
Virtual crosstalk, or a virtual tour during crosstalk.
A tour of your workshop. Every 2 weeks, one person gives a tour of their workspace on Crosstalk.
It's an interesting dilemma, right? Because there's no tiebreaker.
Yeah. Instead of during crosstalk, because it does take a lot of bandwidth too, as I'm recording and doing the tour. What if?
I would say that number 2 is actually more like a demo, and I think we'd have to edit it or at least record it offline. Maybe that's better posted or shared when we get the email about the setup. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah. Can we try to vote like a 1 and 2 vote? Like one would be which one like we think should just become a backlog item, and which one should be our actual process improvement? Is that
Good point.
Does that make?
I like it.
Yeah.
My vision of it is it's very short and it's interactive. So I personally don't think the video is necessarily the right thing. If somebody wants to do a video, I was just thinking of a short thing that allows interaction during the crosstalk. So that's my take on that, and that could be a backlog item.
I think make that a backlog item, because if it's something that's going to be norm, that could be a buffer. It'd be a buffer on whoever is getting that week's tour, and that way the rest of the team can still continue working on the process improvement.
I will also say, if we want to try that out as a backlog item during crosstalk, I can't really video demo it, but I can demo how this Uber conference works. So we can have some sort of a demo during crosstalk just to try out the idea.
Yeah, that sounds great. Get a mini A/B testing, and then next week, then during crosstalk, we'll have someone be touring their facility. All right, I like it. Any seconds? Cool. That concludes our stand-up and retrospect with our voted process improvement. Yeah. 6:30 on the dot. Okay. And we shall move forward to crosstalk. A few items before I forget. Next Thursday, I will not be in stand-up. I will be sending my information in. Amazon did confirm and invite us to the Radical Urban Transportation. It is going to be a little nuts, crazy day and a half, because it's Thursday evening and invite only, and also a all-day Friday from continental breakfast, networking, lunch, Q&A, more presentations until.
So you're not presenting though; you're just attending, right?
I'm just attending, luckily.
Okay.
But man,
Okay, that's good.
it's an all day, like literally from 7:30 to, they said sometimes like 10 p.m. I'm gonna have to
Are you
caffeinate.
bringing Gunner?
No, unfortunately they said the spots are limited and filled, and I thought, oh well, at least I'll bring some notes and take lots and make sure that we network with plenty of
Call
people.
last minute and see if they have a spot that opens up for him.
I'll try, but you know how Amazon is with phone numbers. They're like, yeah, why don't you Google what our customer service number is? Because we're not going to list it on our site. Yeah, that's what happened. And we'll miss you again, Mary Michael.
At the very least, bring some protein bars.
William?
Yeah, I will.
William?
Yes, Lauren.
So I assume a very large drone is going to land in your front yard and take you to the conference.
That would be epic. That would be the radical transportation salon vehicle of choice. Yes, that would be amazing. I think the FCC sort of gave a leeway after they first vetoed it, but I haven't seen or heard anything new since. Supposedly, it is a whole bunch of really passionate, crazy people about what we do, like us, WIKISPEED. So I'm curious to know, what is it out there like that in the world. What else? I had a couple of things. Chris, if you're still here, on your backlog of items, since you do have a lot more of the items that you need to do, especially write and creative side, for the editing, if there's anything that needs editing, Mary Michael and I or anyone else, we can help you with that. I know Mary Michael's got a lot more skill set in the technical writing area, so if there's any of that we can help you with, let us know. I feel like I'm talking to a blank screen, so please say something or unmute, and you're back. You got nothing.
Sorry about that. Were y'all waiting on me?
What I just said in the last 2 minutes was all directed at you, so that was pretty funny. It's all recorded.
I apologize.
It's okay. No, I said
Just like,
if there's any editing that needs to be done, feel free to reach out, and please just don't try to take up all that items yourself in that website department. I know Mary Michael's really good with technical writing, and she's been doing a lot more of that than I have, and I've done some of it, and we both can help. That'll work, or even
that's
anyone
awesome.
else.
The part that was holding me up, I think I've already shared like the structure of the email that we were using previously, so I'll really just be implementing that. It's just going in and putting it in the right parts of the template, which I think would be faster for me to do and then document than to explain to someone else how to do that part. So
That makes sense. When it comes to content, provided I can pair with somebody so that we can have a conversation over it, as opposed to me like needing to write it out, because that's not working so well for me right now, I would be happy to do that. And I'm kind of brilliant there.
awesome, and I'll do the same thing I did last time. As any whatever I end up with, if I get to it before someone else tells me to write something better, I'll share it with the team so it can be iterated from the point that it's at right then.
Excellent. Lauren, I know that Joe is in town. We probably chatted a bit more about the 4 epics that we were onboarding into Trello, and also into the current couple of next few sprints, as long as it takes. So if there's any kind of sign-off things, I would recommend getting to him before, I think, sometime next week, because I know he leaves for Europe soon. That's why he wasn't able to make it to the Radical Salon being picked up by a drone. So, Lauren, are you back for blank screen? Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the heads up. I'll take note of that.
Okay. Sounds good. Very good. And Bruce, yes, on the GeoMagic, I agree. I think there are a lot of the suspension CAD, also any other CAD. I'm hoping that most of it or some of it already has been ported over so that I can actually view it through Fusion 360. I believe I've seen email threads of that being done by Hubert Smith, but I'm in the same boat that I'll need to onboard myself, figure out how to do so. But there should be a better way so that I don't have to go through every one single of the tutorials where it's just, oh, here's all the tools. It's fairly visually there, even though it's digital. But fairly easy to be able to understand and a la carte myself. So hopefully we'll get something put together to fashion that forward a little bit. Am I missing anything? Oh, transportation with Mary Michael, yes. I'm flying out next Saturday. I'll be back next Tuesday afternoon, I think. Tuesday afternoon or evening. No, not next Tuesday, sorry. I'm flying out next Saturday, so I'll be back next Tuesday, which I think is the 30th? No, I'm way too far. Like trek back calendar
25th.
wise. Thank you. 25th. Yeah, I'm out
I'm
22nd.
flying in on the 25th too. What time do you arrive?
I forget. I think in the evening, afternoon or evening. So
Okay.
yeah.
I'm actually getting in the morning.
Okay.
I was thinking it would be cool. The coolest thing about getting a ride from the airport with you would be rapid onboarding and prioritization. And but if you're not getting until that evening, we'll just do that next.
Okay. Excellent. Who would like to go next, or does someone have anything? I know I just kind of offloaded, like Michael says.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm looking to have some stuff delivered from IKEA, and I haven't figured out yet about delivery charges. I've seen everything from $10 to $150.
As far as delivery charges?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how that works at all. If it ends up being completely hinky, can we arrange one running around like a mad person day?
I don't know if I can answer that right now. It's so far out, and it'll have to depend on probably the week before. You ask me next week to see what our bandwidth looks like for the sprints, because we're starting on our couple of epics right now, or the one epic.
Okay.
Let's see. Joe
That's
has
really cool.
one car between ISON, so that is one of the downside and hard side. Is there a way to confirm what shipping would be like with IKEA? Maybe a phone call or anything?
Yeah, I'm on that tomorrow. They're down to one car. Did they sell the?
No. The NSX is in the shop, getting free on recharged, but it's
Okay.
missing some parts and pieces, and that such a rare car is hard to find. Even this last week, which sorry I forgot to mention, we did find a piece, and I ordered it and then had it sent to the shop, and it's in transit. So a lot of shipping this week. A lot of shipping.
Right?
Um,
Yeah.
Really lots of shipping.
Mhm.
I
that-
want to say also I spoke with people at Scrum Inc. See, I did all this stuff I forgot. I spoke with people at Scrum Inc. and they said that they didn't want a lot of expensing, but we should be able to be giving away Jeff Sutherland's book as a giveaway for this time round. And if Joe doesn't bring those out with him, they will ship us a couple cases so that we will have those as a giveaway. So that should be nice.
It's a great book, by the way. I have 2 copies. I've read
I'm
them both.
excited. I'm excited. I'd like to have them autographed too, but we'll see.
Oh yes, exactly. I have one autograph each. It's good.
Nice.
I think I gave away my only non-autograph copy left. So I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah, I'll put that message out to them that we'd like them to be autographed and we'd like 2 cases.
just a comment about delivery. If you can manage to buy some stuff from Home Depot, they will rent you a van for 4 hours for $10, or at least they will up here. I don't know about down there.
Mary Michael, you should look into that. We've gone back to Home Depot like 6-7 times.
Yeah, I think in the U.S. it's like $19.
Yeah, the only disadvantage to that is I have to drive in Seattle traffic, which I am not willing to do.
Oh, I see.
You got Google
Maybe I'll
Maps.
hire an Uber driver
there's
who
good
has
times.
a truck, right? Can we do that?
Actually,
Will they like to specify the Uber vehicle?
depends. I think you could check with Uber or Lyft. Lyft is a good one.
Oh, super important question.
Yes.
Whatever happened with the electrical stuff? Is the electrical conduit buried?
Yeah, I mean the place still works. It's not burnt down. What do you mean? What happened to it?
Remember there was a trench between the house and the
Oh yeah, no. Joe sent that email out. Like, it's all done. It's just not pretty and it's dated. Is all. I mean, Joe's saying like it could be better. It's like, oh well, true, but it
Well, it could be
functions
better,
and
and
it
there were
works.
several things that he paid for that weren't done. You know, boxes in particular places, things being tightened up. Is that
Yeah.
something that we should pursue?
Good question. I would check with Joe to see if he wants that brought up and put into a epic. If not, I would probably likely leave it alone. it just sounded from the email that he was somewhat satisfied with the overall. Like, okay, it works, it functions, it's better
I
than.
read it exactly the opposite. I read
Okay.
that as kind of a, I'm not going to slap you across the face and challenge you to a duel, but I am going to publicly tell you that this, and this are not the things that I paid for, and give you an opportunity to show up.
Okay. That's why face-to-face communication is always best. So, or if not,
Totally.
video conferencing.
Okay, that's why I
Good
wanted
question.
to check in with you guys.
Okay.
And I would, this is just a request from me. William, when you were so awesome, you turned off the water so that we could do plumbing stuff last time. I don't think the water was turned on as fully as before.
Oh,
So me, selfish woman that I am, I like my bathtub to fill quickly. And I wondered if at some point you might be able to get in there and just crank it up a little bit.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
You are just my favorite ever.
On a slightly different topic, with the LOVE or whatever their acronym was, that was looking for open source assistance, was anybody, or first of all, did anybody read it, I guess? And secondly, was anybody available to do the interview stuff that they wanted, as well as a 100-word summary of what WIKISPEED is about?
I glanced at it. I would feel a lot more comfortable if the acronym was different. But I'm kind of interested. Actually, when I read what it was about, which was what I'd been talking about people losing their jobs in the fossil fuel industry, and what do you do for them? What can they do? And the idea of distributed manufacturing, things like that.
Well, their deadline's pretty tight. It's like next week sometime, I think. So if nobody is willing to take that on right now, I'll just send them a thanks but no thanks.
I did read the email, and actually that is something I would love to do, but have less than zero bandwidth to even deal with it at all. So unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you, Michael.
Along the same lines there, the email went out about the Bitcoin processes. Did anybody else see that? Somebody approached us to say that at one point, or we're one of the few manufacturers who are listed on as accepting Bitcoin. What do we think about it? Has anybody replied to that? Is anybody interested in replying to that?
I looked at it. I think most of that went through you. I don't remember more than like 3 or 4 transactions. So I would respond, but I don't know how.
Did we have any transactions that went through Bitcoin?
Yes, there's at least one that was, I don't know if it's still there under the new website setup, but there was at one point a purchase through the store that was through Bitcoin. So it's for the functionality, yeah, and I don't remember. I think it was for like a T-shirt. I would have to go back and look now. It's been at least 3 years since I noticed that. Hey, it looks like there's a Bitcoin plugin, and it actually works because someone actually had purchased something using Bitcoin.
Originally, we set it up because somebody was interested in purchasing a car, and that was at a time when Bitcoin was extremely elevated, and they were like, how cool would it be if I were the first person to purchase a car? Unfortunately, by the time we were able to respond, Bitcoin had decreased in value again, and so they didn't actually buy the car, but I think we set it up because we wanted to be available to, all sorts of different types of purchasing. I know it still exists. I don't know if we haven't been asked to go ahead and purchase a whole car or anything like that through it again. And I don't know what anybody's thinking about it.
Yeah, I have some thoughts. I have a Bitcoin wallet in my phone, and it was about $20, and last I looked, it was worth $70 Canadian. And it seems to have held up in spite of attempts by China's government and many others to destroy it. and it brings in a currency risk. The only thing you want is, if you get it, then decide how much you want to hold and cash the rest right away, because it is volatile, and it is still under attack by banks and governments. But I think it's really good, and I think it really fits the project and so forth. So if it's not too much work, the one thing is you do have to watch. If you end up holding it, then you want to decide, okay, we'll leave a quarter in Bitcoin for some currency risk, which is an okay thing to do. But we'll let's get the rest out into regular cash.
And as people who are interested in disruptive evolution, we like to support the sort of thing that encourages change and encourages growth globally. Whether or not Bitcoin will continue to fit that model, I couldn't say.
So
For
does
now-
anybody
for now-
know if we have any Bitcoin? Because there was a couple of donations that came through. They were very small, like 1/1000th or 1/10,000th or something like that. But I remember seeing the emails.
So Bitcoin is now measured in milli-Bitcoins, because it's gone up to 1,200 American and 1,600 Canadian. And basically it's bounced between about 300 and those the elevated level. But it's up pretty high compared to its high. And it seems to just be appealing enough that it's weathered a lot. So my feeling is, again, that it's congruent, it's consistent with what we do, and as long as we've got something that works and it's not too difficult. And one of my Bitcoin wallets in my phone stopped producing and stopped supporting, but they just directed me to another wallet. I downloaded the other wallet, and it said, do you want to transfer your Bitcoin from that other app on your phone? So it was all very slick.
Is there any carrying cost for WIKISPEED on this to have that in place?
That's an excellent question. I have no idea.
No,
Sorry, Mike.
there's usually no carrying cost for Bitcoin. It's usually transactional, like PayPal, because it's a digital currency. They'll take a percentage of it when there's a transaction. When you do transfer wallets, because it's a cyber currency, do at least a good amount of research to see which wallets and which transactions are good, because every time there's been an influx in Bitcoin valuation, it's because either a infrastructure industry that's been using it, such as when the Silk Road went down, Bitcoin valuation went up 1,000% within 30 days. The second time is when Mount GTX or
Mount Gox.
Mount Gox, went down because they could not triple check their security, make sure that customers are getting their coins or getting their money when they exchanged and went through that exchange. And so, because of those drops and those companies and industries dropping, that's where Bitcoins has gone up and down. But it's a market. It's an open market now where people are using it, and it's being used based on supply and demand. So if governments or entities or companies want to shut it down, good luck. It's like you're one thing fighting a whole bunch of people. So, apologies.
So my question is, if anybody's interested in talking to this guy, would you please email me and I will forward it to you. If not, I can talk to him a little bit about the very, very beginning. I mean, what I said to you is all I know. Somebody wanted to buy a car. By the time we were able to respond, Bitcoin had devalued enough so they weren't interested in it. We went ahead and signed up for it just because we're interested in that kind of technology. Whether or not we would accept purchase for an entire car, I'm not aware at this point. But for the small purchases, it's worth our while to continue this kind of support for this kind of change in the world and see what happens. And
Mary
so-
Michael, sorry. Go ahead.
So, but if anybody else knows more or better, I would just as soon hand it off. So, what works for you?
What's the nature of the inquiry? Who did it come from and what is it?
It's somebody writing about Bitcoin and saying that we are one of the few people manufacturers who accepts it, I believe.
Okay.
And I'm writing an article, I believe.
Chris, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so the most concise answer I can give to your original question, Mary Michael, is yes, absolutely, we accept Bitcoin. We already know the structure is somewhat in the back end, so if someone wants to purchase a car or anything, any module or anything that WIKISPEED is offering, yes, we accept Bitcoin, and we will figure out in that sprint how to do that, or set the expectations that it will take 2 sprints or whatever. You know, we will totally scrum the process. But yes, we absolutely accept Bitcoin. It's why it's on the website. It's always been part of actually what I consider the core philosophy of WIKISPEED.
Right.
To give a little comment on what everyone's saying too is it can be a volatile currency. I just recently read an article that the SEC, I believe, turned it down for being used as a trade currency because of its volatility. But the other half of the article was talking about how, is it the Winklevoss brothers or twins, were actually have been pushing for it to be, you're right, have been pushing for it to be a trade currency and considered a legitimate currency for a long time. And actually, the fact that it's volatile may or may not be a bad thing. If it goes down because of an interesting decision and somebody gives us a nanometer or whatever you said, Lauren, of Bitcoin, and then the value goes up, well, then that's worth more. And you had great advice too on how to deal with that. Get out of it what you want, and then maybe use the rest as an investment or however. So, yeah, that's a good talk, people. Awesome.
So, am I muted? No, I don't think I'm muted.
No. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay. So I can summarize that because Mary Mike, you said you're having trouble putting words down, and I know Chris has no bandwidth to do this, so I can get into the account and respond to that email and see if they are still interested, unless anybody else wants to take it on.
Sounds great, Michael. Thank you.
Lauren, I will forward that voicemail to you right now.
That was Michael.
Oh, Michael. Why did I say Lauren? You know why? It's because I think of like one name for both of you.
We're Canadians. We're different.
I know the people are different. It's the name. And I think that Michael belongs to Wallace, even though it, of course, doesn't.
Although I much prefer Canada's Prime Minister, so yeah.
Right now, I think everybody, or at least 47% of you, would prefer anybody else.
I don't know.
Wait a second, we're getting political. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
All right, it's okay. Maybe growing more and more if you look at and read up on some of the just some of the comments of these disappointed and angry people. Like, yeah, well. No. Anyways,
Okay, that's
all right.
consent. That's done.
Yeah, we'll pull that back. Okay, so Bitcoin's done. Thank you. Anyone
I'm
else?
raising my productivity to a 7. I'm terribly proud of myself.
Excellent. Anyone else?
I have 2 things to say just real quickly that have come up. First, one reason, and I'd forgotten this, that I gave the tenant team, is that Hubert Smits, that you had brought up somewhere earlier in conversation, his car premiered at the San Diego Scrum Gathering. They did a build party there, and from what I could tell, everybody loved it. So that's awesome.
Is there video?
There is. See if I can pull it up. Joe shared it on his Facebook page. That's what I saw. There's several seconds of video of them pushing the car up, and one of the biggest crowds I've seen of people surrounded building the car, just clapping and loving it. So, also, Bruce, I would say your process improvement that came up, that the better documentation should just always be our process.
Yeah,
right? especially on a team of volunteers, that it's somewhat of it can be volatile. People can come and go. It does take extra time. It's not necessarily a core value of Agile. Well, it is. It's just
Enough.
we prefer working solutions over documentation. However, in a team that is not stable and changing this often, it's not a working solution if there's not documentation, right? So I wanted to point that out, that was an excellent process improvement, and we really should just all work on that, go the extra time in, and that should be part of our definition of that.
Thank you, Chris. And with that, if no one else has anything, I think that is our closer.
Okay, guys, good night.
Such a
Bye,
good story.
everybody. See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Yep. Well,
Y'all are awesome.
you'll read about me,
Bye.
but y'all are fantastic.